Hello, all my geeky friends. How you doing? And welcome back to another Friday. Hi, Alba. How you doing?
Great, and you, Susan, you're ready for this show? This is going to be amazing.
Yeah. By the way, I says then I didn't sleep last night. This morning I wake up and I'm gonna retouch the presentation. I cannot do it. I cannot hold myself. I need to retouch the presentation. I need to put new things. And let's see if we again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 monitors. And
Okay.
it's not showing. It's showing that we are live and Facebook too. Hi everyone, how you doing? And we have a special one today. Guess what is my color than my Star Saver? I don't know if you can see it.
Mhm.
It's red.
Red, yeah.
Yeah, I have my Star Sabers. Do you have your toys too?
Yeah, I have my Darth Vader here. It's from my girl.
Well,
Yeah.
I have my okay. I don't need to steal for any kid my toys. I have the Death Star on my back. I have my Darth Vader. I have my Yoda.
Oh,
I
I
have
love
my
that girl.
Chewbacca. Yeah, I love that. I love the ears. Like
Yeah,
he can
me
fly. It's like a
too.
Dumbo. And by the way, I have my tea with Darth Vader micro expressions. I have my Star Wars T-shirt, and I have my Darth Vader necklace. So I think I can say that I'm a professional geek.
Yeah, I think
I am
that's
a
the
prof-
new title. Yes.
yeah. I think I'm gonna add that from all the letters and things that I have in my resume. I'm gonna add professional geek between Spock and this one. I think I can says I am a professional geek. What about you?
Yeah, I think the same.
Okay, what are we gonna be talking about today?
Ha. We are going to talk about Star Wars, but just not talking about just in an easy way. We're going to talk about in a deep way. So get ready.
Yeah, and one of the things that we says is you can apply behavior to everything. And I found this morning a short clip of an interview that George Lucas did when they were telling him okay, this is going to be another movie, another action movie about the galaxy. And no, it's way more complex. Actually, if you follow politics and you follow the side and you follow the force and you follow the Republican, you're going to understand how much Star Wars has to do with the everyday life. I found PhDs. I found articles in psychology magazines talking about Darth Vader and the complex of Darth Vader. Even though we talked this morning, people says that he have borderline personalities. Well, we are not psychologists, we are not counselors, so we decide not to touch the part of the psychology behavior of Darth Vader, but we definitely, we're going to talk about the dark side. We're going to talk about Yoda and where Yoda coming from. There were some fights on the 60s, 70s, and 80s where Yoda was created, and we have the information to let you know. We're going to talk about the cult effect base and how Darth Vader, Anakin, he was recruited by the dark side. And we're going to talk a little about the voice and the intonation and body language because I can overdid it with Darth Vader. Dark side. Okay, people, I hope you're ready because we are, and we're going to be talking about Star Wars. But first, before we start talking about Star Wars, we're going to talk about what we're going to have next week. And next week, we're going to be talking about reading faces and micro expressions with a mask. We have been people who have been asking us, we get lost, we don't understand how to communicate, and my screen is sharing like this is a screen share. Don't do that, computer. It was funny. I needed to have a flop in my technology side. I need it. It's like if I doesn't happen, it's not me.
Yeah,
So
no.
let's check that we are. Yeah, we know that. We know Susan doesn't get her computer things get done. So we have all the message. So next week we're going to be talking about next time, same time, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Actually, we start 4:05 to make sure that we have enough people. And we're going to be talking about how to read microexpression and the basic things. 75% of the things that you can read in a face can be read when you're wearing a mask. And it was funny because we were preparing the promo, and you sent me a promo. I did another one. So let's say we're going to do both. We're going to put 2 promos to be. So at the end of this stream, we're going to be putting the next link so you can register, or you can put a reminder in your computer. Remember, you don't need to register for this. You need to put your email. Just jump on LinkedIn and Facebook. We have 3 Facebook, YouTube. We are streaming in Twitter. We're streaming in Amazon. We're streaming in everything that have this live. And if we missing anyone, just let us know. And we start with the session of webinar. Our next webinar, well, better says, our first webinar of the year is like, a lot of people love the part when we talk about face reading, but says, I don't have neither the commitment to do the 5 levels of face reading, or I don't want to like become an expert. I just need to know enough to become a better person in my job and a better professional in my job. So the first webinar is going to be February 2, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we're going to start putting things together. We're going to be talking about the size of the ears and the height. So depending on the size and depending on the height of the ear, we're going to have different personalities and different way to approach. Do it right or do it now. So if you're in sales and you want to know how to better approach other people to make sure that they buy in what you're selling, well, let me tell you something. This is a webinar that you don't want to be missed. Now, after that, most of you maybe doesn't know, but I'm a civilian hostage negotiator, and I work on a couple of negotiations. And this is not a negotiation that I specifically work on it, but I have the transcript from a hostage negotiator. So we're going to run a real live time hostage negotiation, and we're going to be talking about the language, how you can create rapport, how you can be reading someone, and when you can determine that you're winning or losing a situation on a hostage negotiation. So we're going to run a real scenario. One of the things that I always say about negotiation and creating rapport is, if you don't know what the other person needs, you're never going to deliver what they want. You always a win-win situation. And when you split the differences and both parts leave the room thinking and feeling they have what they want. A great negotiator and a great sales rep, 1 month after the negotiation of the sales, need to be able to call the client and says, do you have what you wanted? And most people is not able to do it. So let's start with our session today, and I love these short clip. We're gonna have a couple of short clips because it's better to see it and hear it from the people who did it. And this is the concept of George Lucas when they asked it, what the heck you invented or you went with the Star Wars. By the way, Luca, if I ever met you, I'm gonna punch you in the face. What the heck you were thinking selling Star Wars to Disney? Like, hello?
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah.
Oh, it's a silly movie. It's just a bunch of space battles and stuff. It's not real. There's nothing behind it. And I said, well, there is stuff behind it. It's not just a space battle. There's more to it than that. It's much, much more complicated than that.
Do you hear the audio well?
Yeah, I think I hear a little lower.
Yeah, can be. Let's see if you, okay, we can run it again.
Star Wars came out. Everybody said, oh, it's a silly movie. It's just a bunch of space battles.
Change just a little bit.
There's nothing behind it.
That's the reason I have subtitles.
It's not just a space battle. There's more to it than that. It's much, much more complicated than that.
That's what we have been saying. Star Wars is not only a cult, they not only have followers. Star Wars is a myth. It's like a religion. For some people, it's a religion. And I'm not the only person who get pissed off with Luca when he sell it to Disney. So let's go to we don't have comments until now. Okay, everybody's paying a lot of attention, or we are not doing a good job. So those are the movies that are being released until now. Now, The first Star Wars was released on May 25th, 1977. I was really young, so I didn't have the chance to see it, but I see it later. I need to confess, I haven't seen any of the movies that Disney have done. I can't.
Really?
It's no, I can't. Yeah, I have friends who's like, "What the heck with you? You have more memorabilia from Star Wars than anybody else than I know, being an adult. Why you don't have it?" Like, I can't. I need to take a volume, a couple of glasses of wine, and maybe I do a binge on a weekend. I promise. At some point, I'm going to do it. I need to do it. I need to know what they did.
Okay,
So,
how many movies goes before the Disney buy Star Wars?
if I'm not mistaken, there are three. There are three
Okay.
before us, Disney. Yeah, three. And I think this 2021,
It's
we have another one coming. So let's see. Now, Yoda, from all the faces to read, we're gonna talk about the body language and some things on the face and Anakin. But from all the faces, the more controversial to me, to the most controversial character is Yoda. Yoda spoke broken English, but just happened to be the most insightful and intelligent person on the movie. At least in my case, I feel extremely identified with Yoda because I speak broken English. So when people criticize my knowledge based on my grammar or my broken English, is like, well, I know a lot of experts who spoke broken English, but has nothing to do and doesn't diminish who you are or the knowledge that you have. We have people like, hey, I'm here. I need to see who the person is. Facebook doesn't. Yeah, I know. It's even though I have it.
Because I know you have a lot of monitors, so
Yeah, I'm trying to see who's the person on Facebook. Like, yeah, I cannot see you. My apologies. I'm trying to see the comments, but I can't. No, I cannot see it. So, hi, how you doing? We have Vanessa. Happy birthday, Susan, and happy Friday. Happy birthday. Like, oh my God, it's happy Friday. Happy Friday to you too. I am only seeing 20 minutes of the Star Wars movie. Like, I don't know who you are. Identify yourself. So, seriously, identify yourself. So I know who can I be cursing. Like, how you see only 20 minutes of the Star
Elizabeth.
Wars? Elizabeth? It's Elizabeth. Like,
Yeah.
okay. Like, doesn't work. That doesn't work in that way. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, you need to watch all the Star Wars because it's such much psychology behind that. And by the way, thank you, Elizabeth, for being here. I'm just giving you a hard time. That is my nature. Like, yeah, you never hide your dark side. So Elba is going to do the face reading of Yoda, but I want you to tell you how complex was the development of Yoda. Actually, they're called talking about how Yoda was created. And we have, and happy birthday, Susan. Like, yeah, it was last week and it's not happy. I hate my birthday. I hate my birthdays. I don't celebrate. I was crampy and I disconnect my phone all Saturday. That's what I do. Anyway, so Lucas traveled to, and I'm going to destroy these names, and a lot of names are really complicated, so bear with me. Lucas traveled to Dharamanla, India, prior to making Star Wars, and met with the Tibetan Buddhist teacher named, okay, again, you cannot call Bob yourself, like, no, Tisenhat
No.
Serkon Rinpoche. I talked to a friend this morning and like, not even I know how the heck you can pronounce that name. Well, Luca traveled to India to visit with Buddhists. And for people who practice Buddhism and understand about that, this says Yoda had a lot to do with Buddhism. Actually, their drawings find on the Buddhism culture that reflects what Yoda means. This is happy beloved birthday Freudian sleep. Like, I don't know why you're talking this, but I'm afraid to ask. So we have our crowd. So initially they says that when Luca traveled to India, he was thinking about the development of the character based in Tisang, Senkan, Rinpoche. They have a lot of similitudes,
A lot.
but we found out that the same person who developed the characters from, I don't know, he says like Dharam Ahala. I don't know what you're doing, guys, but you're driving me crazy. Like, I don't know how to pronounce those names. They're doing it on purpose.
Me neither. Don't worry. Me neither.
I have two specialties: forgetting names and destroying names, because I don't know. The ones I know, Dharam Masala. Okay, thank you very much for like doing the phonetic of the pronunciation. I really appreciate it. I'm doing my best to improve. Who knows? So initially, there were says that Yoda was based on him and have a lot of similitudes. But what if I tell you, okay, Elba, you see already the presentation. Who do you think Yoda resembled the most from all the people that you can imagine on the world? Who was considered one of the brilliant minds of all the centuries?
Oh. Albert Einstein.
And you just open your mouth. I says, play with it since you already see it.
Sorry.
I'm going to slap you in the back.
I have it here.
What about if I tell you that actually Yoda was based on Einstein characters? And one of the things that you can determine is like the big stick out ears. So special effect artist and a Star Wars makeup supervisor, Stuart Freedom, modeled the character after an Einstein picture that he had in his desk, in his office. So from all the conclusions and all the things that people says, like, no, it's not Dalai Lama. Sorry, it's not the Dalai Lama. You was kind of near, because if we're watching in both characters, they have similitudes. But actually, the person who developed the character, and not only developed that character, he developed two: Yoda, Chewbacca, and Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt, to me, is one of the most grotesque personas on the Star Wars. But guess what? If you look on a Stuart Freeborn face and you look Yoda, you're going to find a lot of similitudes. So I would say we have a mix between Albert Einstein. I know somebody's going to correct me. Einstein and Stuart Freeborn. There is a similitude, but if you look at them, like, it's kind of spooky. It's like you're sleeping every night with Yoda. He died at the age of 98, if I'm not mistaken, in 2015. Geeky here, I says I'm professional geek. So talking about professional geek, if you want to know more about how to read in faces and micro expression with mask, please be our guest, and we will see you next Friday, 4 p.m. This is a class that is being asked for you guys. You asked us to get this. Most people is lost, and we're going to teach you how to practice on the mirror. So next Friday, 4 p.m., have your mirror handed, because we're going to be wearing a mask, and we're going to be giving the class with mask. I don't know how we want to breathe and talk, but since I messed it up with my voice last week, I think I can do it. So, my dear, this is your turf. You want to go for it?
Yes, I'm going to go for it. Yeah. Okay.
So now that we know,
it's like.
Now, I'm sorry. Now that we know that Yoda coming from one of the most intelligent minds of the century, it's going to be good for people to understand why Yoda have certain characteristics that we have done and we have read in Albert Einstein before. So, my love, all yours.
Okay, you can see him if he wants to be seen. That's a thing that you can see with Yoda. He's the kind of person that he can be inside the room with a bunch of people and you cannot notice him until he wants to be seen and be the center of the attention when he talks. So I think this is kind of be like the chameleon, because he can go like, I'm here, and then he says like, I'm not here, I'm invisible. Now he had another feature, has another thing that like it's crazy. He is the one that has a natural charisma. Why? Because he can, you when you talk to him, you feel like so comfortable that you can tell him more that the things that he wants to know. So he can go with the high level of intimacy. He can connect with the emotions and the feelings with people. And another thing, he thinks outside the box. Why? Because he always know, he can know when where are the opportunity that he can get, and is the opportunity that is going to be different. So I think this three, it can be too with Albert Einstein too, because it's really amazing how he can think outside the box. He can be the chameleon one, and he can, you can talk to him, and even though you can feel like attracted to talk to him because he has a high charisma. He has determination. If he sets something in his mind, he will not stop. He is the one that, okay, I want this, I'm going for it. So you cannot stop him. Another thing that you have with him, he knows how to keep his word, meaning that his sense of responsibility is too high that if he promises you something, he's going to give it to you, because he knows that when you promise things, you have to make a commit and do it. And the last thing that is like, with all the character and everything, he's a survivor. He's the kind of person that has to pass with a lot of things, tough things, hard things, and in some point he's like, I don't know if I'm going to get it, but he can find that energy, that strength, that he can get up and go again. So he's a survivor.
Okay. So now, what are the common things that you find between Yoda and Einstein? Einstein.
Einstein. I don't know. I say Einstein or Einstein. Okay, it's like they both can listen.
Do you want me to put a picture?
Yeah, you can.
Both?
Yeah, you can put it. Yeah, the one that you have it before. Yes.
This is a live event, so guys, bear with us. It's on the teachable moment. People in my team make fun of my teachable moments, but that's what I do.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah. So ears. He has big ears. You can see this is the kind of person that they can listen to you. They will take the time to listen to you. The lines in the forehead, it's the one that mental development both had it the same. So they are the kind of person that they keep develop his abilities. The eyebrows, it's amazing. Like I said, they are like chameleon eyebrows. So you can notice them and you cannot notice them if they want to be seen.
You see the eyelids? It's amazing. The eyes. It's like looking both eyes at the same time.
At the same time, yeah. Yeah, it's great. I think it's like crazy. Even though if Albert Einstein had a mustache, it's like look like the same mouth of Yoda.
And the chin is the same, the ears, the eyebrows, the forehead. Like, so when people says that is juju, or this is like not belong to science, like, guys, you don't know how much people like us work in the everyday life. Consciously or unconsciously, we pair with people that we like or they are alike. So the first time that you see someone, you have 3 seconds to make a first impression. People is going to know if they're going to like you in 3 seconds. What do you think is happening in your brain? That person didn't talk. You don't know anything about that person, and suddenly you like it or not like it. It's because either have some of the same features you have, either because it's remind you to someone who have similar features you have and bring them pleasure, or because you have intrinsically features that compensate or complementing you. So that's the reason we like people so fast. They don't talk. They don't do anything with the body. For example, I have been drawn to people in parties like, oh my God, you want to talk to X and Y? That person is like grumpy and X and Y. Like, oh no, my God, that person is going to be super fun when you start talking to that person. Why? Because my brain is trained. And one of the things I always says, you're one of the best face reading profilers than I ever met. And you started learning English how long? A year and a half ago?
A
So
year and a half ago, yeah.
So between the both of us, we cannot say hello without orthographical grammar, even if our life depend on it. That doesn't mean that we don't know what we're talking about. And YODA is. And nobody caught on the promo that we did that when we talk about YODA, we phrase the phrase on the same way that he say it. Nobody correct me this time. People usually correct me with those things.
I think they are used to it. They are like
Yeah,
hearing
they're
it.
used to it. Yeah, it's not funny anymore.
It's still funny.
Okay, let's talk about the dark side. And we have a couple of videos that we extract from the movie. When we talk about Darth Vader and the dark side and the cult effect, we not understand why some people is more propense or ended up in cult or in extreme religious like the Taliban, ISIS, and things like that. There is a psychological place. Neither of us are psychologists, neither of us are counselors. So we're trying to explain it in a way that you can digest. So you can see those propensities either with people who is around you, who is people around your kids, and people who is around things that are kind of affected. But first of all, we're going to talk about the webinars, and we're going to put the webinar that you can be registering next webinar, or the first webinar of the year, is going to be just in February 2, and we're going to be talking about face reading profiling. So we're going to start putting things together for the ones who are been asking us to start getting things on a better perspective. Oh my God, we have 150 people watching on LinkedIn.
Wow,
What the heck?
that's great.
I'm scared. Hello. Now I get scared. 140 people is watching us on LinkedIn. No pressure there. Only tutorial. Pressure there. Holy cow. Anyway, so the first one is going to be February 2. We're going to have 2 webinars a month. These are paid webinars, and they're going to be evergreen. So if for any reason you cannot jump on the webinar, and we're going to start putting things together. We had been talking about features, but if you don't complement the features, you are not going to be able to provide first any people around you. We're going to be talking about the language of host and negotiator and how you can, via text or a phone conversation, can determine if you're creating reports. So beside that, is going to be fun because we're going to be replicating a real host and negotiator. Negotiation is like why we are missing when we're talking with people and why we are not paying the right attention. Now, Darth Vader. And I think this is one of, I need to confess, I have this ringtone in my cell phone. So
Really?
when I'm dating with someone, I have the first part of the video, but that is a ringtone only for the special person in my phone. So let's see what is the most prolific and well-known and most searched ringtone on the story of Hollywood.
I am your father.
Okay, I'm trying to put the volume, I don't know, because I'm afraid to put the volume too high, I ended up putting too low. So let's go again. I just ringed all
Let's
the
go again.
Then I did.
I am your father.
No. Not true. That's impossible.
I think that was one of the most like wow scenes when I
Okay,
see
yeah.
like how somebody so evil can give birth to such a beautiful person. Why? Because Anakin wasn't Darth Vader. He became Darth Vader because the circumstances. And we're gonna start talking seriously about this. One of the phrases that I love the most about fear and to start understanding how people can manipulating you in different ways is fear is the path of the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. And hate leads to suffering. Most of the people who recruit people from Al Qaeda, from ISIS, do you know what is the first people they're looking for? Kids or survivors of attacks when they lost a loved one, when they are afraid they're going to lose someone they love, when they have fear, when they give them power, and when they give them the sense of belonging. So when we're talking about, again, fear is the path of the dark side, because when I start feeling fear, I'm looking for something to make me stronger. I'm looking for a highest desire to make me stronger. Fears lead to anger. When you feel fear, and I always says the same, if you're going in the street, Elba, for example, you have two girls, you go on the street and suddenly you hear a noise, and that noise look like a shooting or like a bullet. First, you're gonna feel fear. After, you're gonna fear anger because you don't know what is coming for. And after that, you're gonna feel hate because, like, how I can fall for this? What is going on? So
Yeah.
anger happen, hate happen, and when the hate happen, everybody around you suffers, and that is the concept of cult. So when Lucas says in that the video we put in the beginning, I know we're going geeky, maybe too deeper into or maybe not the funny part you want to go, but it's to try to understand. I have a lot of people who never read the Talmud or any or the Quran or any of the books that you have on the Islam religion. If you read it and you have any suffer or any pain or any damage in your life, dude, you're gonna have 70 virgins when you go to heaven. So they understand, or they think, or they make them think that they're gonna have more benefits when they're dead. We did a special about Nexium, and we did a special about cults, and we talked with a victim of cult and somebody who made Rainier even before he started what he did. So we know really well-known actresses, we know really well-known people who fell from these kind of things. So sense of belonging, it's really important, and it's not correlated with money. You can be the richest person on the world and you can be the weakness person on the world at the same time. So Anakin was really, really afraid to look Padme. So he looked for counselor and he looked for guidance. That's what happened when he went for counseling and guidance from Yoda. And again, the way the Yoda talked about death and how to surpass death is the same way the Buddhists talk about death and how to go to the next side and how to stop being afraid to death. But Anakin never got it. And we're going to talk about how he talked to Palpatine and how Palpatine controlled him after. I'm going to make sure that you see we have the. So crack the sound on your computer, crack the sound wherever you are listening to us, because this is a conversation who's going to tell you that sometimes we're going from counselor not to hear what we need to hear, but we're expecting to hear what we want to justify and fulfill our own prophecies.
These visions you have.
They're of death.
Close to you?
Yes.
Careful you must be when sensing the future, Anakin. The fear of loss is a path to the dark side.
I won't let these visions come true, Master Yoda.
Death is a natural part of life. Rejoice for those around you who transform into the Force. Mourn them, do not. Miss them, do not. Attachment leads to jealousy. The shadow of greed, that is.
What must I do, Master Yoda?
Train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose.
It looked like he didn't take it well.
These visions.
No.
No. So now we're going to talk when he go to Palpatine. He was having this dream that for, I don't know who, like, yeah, we have one person who watched only one episode of 20 minutes of Star Wars. So I need to educate you guys. Let's put it there. So Anakin met Padme when they were really young, and he finally fell in love with Padme. And he was having these recurring dreams that she is going to die in labor. So he was desperate to look and like, if we have all these forces, if we are so powerful, why we cannot save people from death? Says, for us to hear, you have to share your audio thought your computer. I did hear my audio from my computer, but so nobody hear it until now. None of the things that I've been sharing, been hearing. That's the reason. One of the reasons you hear it.
It's low, but I hear it. I heard.
Yeah, I would say crack it up. I don't know why. Again, if anybody knows any better system than StreamYard to do live on all the channels, including LinkedIn, more than welcome. StreamYard, I'm going to shoot my head. It's driving me crazy. So let's do a stop sharing and share again.
I'll try it again.
And
Jennifer says she could hear it. Hear it.
I could hear it. Thank you, Jennifer. Girl, go for it. The volume is loud. Yeah, guys, again, it was too loud in my computer, then I need to lower my part. So my apologies for that. Crackerat, someone is like, I didn't in LinkedIn. You didn't hear it, Eric? I'm so sorry. My apologies again. We paying for that, but we are not on it. So like we can hear it just loud. Okay, Crackerat, go crack it up, go for it and try to hear it again. Yeah, Susan is fine. The volume is a bit lower, but it's fine. Great. One of the things that this is recording that we can go back, but one of the reason again that we put the subtitles because Yoda mind get ahead of the problem. So again, Anakin is going to Yoda looking for a soul answer. And that's what Yoda given. What Anakin didn't realize, he was asking and looking for something that it's impossible to conquer. That is to make somebody never die. So that, and this is an example, how somebody can become part of a cult, even though you think you're strong. When you have fear, you have anger, and when you have anger and somebody capitalized and condenses that anger and made it in something bad, you can become Darth Vader.
Yeah.
My apprentice, learn to use the dark side of the Force.
I will do whatever you ask. Just help me save Padme's life. I can't live without her.
She will. Only one has achieved. But if we work together, I know we can discover the secret.
And my cat decided he want to trick in the middle of the show. Thank you, Indy. By the way, my cat name is Indy, not for Indiana. It's for Indiana Jones. So yeah, that is my other. Oh my God, that can be the next show that we can do. Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. Okay, let's do it.
We were thinking about it.
I don't know. It could be. I don't know. I was watching a documentary about Pixar, and they say that they did almost all the movies. They did the movie and they put like the character of the person that write the movie.
Okay, we can go like James. Agree with Eric, but I know the movies, lol. So I am good. Like, yeah. Somebody says small ears, like the visual of captions. Like, yeah, we're visual too, so make all the caption. And believe it or not, you don't have an idea how much we put in presentation, like the start, the t-shirts, right? Camille, like, yeah, we put a lot of work on that. I'm not complaining. I love it. I love the Fridays sharing with you guys. I hope
yeah.
you share it as much. And I know a lot of people watch our show on the weekends because I have emails on Sundays like, what are you doing writing on Sunday? Like, I just watched the show. It was so fun. So now, there is a theory about fear and the denial of that. So we went to the geeky side. I would recommend, there are two books that I would say, if you want to know about fear and guts and knowing what's going on. One is, last night we talked with Gina Osborne. She's a former FBI agent, and we talk about feeling your guts. So, and we talk about the Gift of Fear by Gavin De Becker. But other really good book is from 1973 that a lot of people use when they do the PhD or the research about Star Wars is The Denial of That by Ernest De Becker. So I took some of his phrases. I have the book, I have the audiobook. I read this book for, I would say, the last 10 years. And I use it a lot in jury selection. And when I talk to lawyers, they say that when you talk about making the juries feel the same fear, the person that you are defending, the juries are more beneficial to your clients. But I cannot talk a lot more of that because my lawyers are going to kill me if I talk a lot more. That's are the things that I need to keep secret. So in 1973, this book was published. And again, it's an audiobook if you don't like to read. It's an iPad and is unpublished. And one of the things he says, everything that we do is a way of managing the fear of our demise and our demise of those around us, or better known as the denial of that. What happened with Anakin, he was desperate to make sure that he can save Padme. And I don't know if you remember, when he found out his mother was a deadly wound, he went to the Tusken Raiders and he slaughtered the village. And he came back to Padme and he says, I killed them. I killed them all. So taking revenge, that's when when the character of Darth Vader started building. Another phrase, and bear with me because we have 3 slides with phrases, but I think it's a way to palpable and understand the correlation between Star Wars and Darth Vader to the building of the monsters that we saw on the media, or they're able to kill people only to fear or only because they're anger. So if you have somebody who lost someone who loved, like happened with Anakin, when he go into Tusken Raiders, I'm not justifying. I'm trying to make you understand why people do certain things and you don't understand why those things happen. Denial of that is responsible for our drive to inflict violence on each other to conquer and control our surroundings. So again, those are quotes from the book, The Denial of That, from Ernest Becker. Another phrase is the depressed person, and we need to be paying attention. We have a lot of depressed person out there, people who are not doing well. So I was talking last night with Gina too, Osborne, former FBI agent, on the live that we did with Barbie and the Devil, that I know people that are really good at controlling their own needs and says, I'm not going online dating, or I don't want to be getting out there because my need of cuddling, my need of surrender, my need of love, my need to belong to something bigger than I am is going to make me end up with the wrong person. So we need to understand the depressed person avoid the possibility of independence and more life precisely because these are what threaten him with destruction and death. He hold on the people who have slaved him in a network of crushing obligations, battling interaction precisely because these people are his shelter, his strength, his protection against the world. So when somebody is broken, is the best way they can be recruited. That's the best way you can bring somebody and manipulate it. Somebody who's strong, who's grounded, who have love and care and nurtured by nature, and they have both, cannot be broken. But how many people we have estranged and how many people we have broken in society? Even though when somebody broke your heart, we have been having people and talking with people who on the time of the heartbreaking or depression or they're not doing well, they're doing drugs from the first time and they're in the 40s and 50s. They never did it before. So when somebody's broken and something narrowed or give them sense of belonging, that's how you ended up being an addict to whatever you have, or you ended up belonging to a cult, or worse, you become Darth Vader. So another things he says, and the last one, I promise I'm not gonna go geeky, we're gonna go fun again. The person give up something restrained and illusionary is the truth, but only to come face to face with something even more awful, the genuine despair. And the last phrase that I think is super strong is people create the reality they need in order to discover themselves.
I agree.
People has become with their own religion. People has become with their own beliefs. People goes like we have the Unabomber who become in his own religion in his mind. We have Mormons. Nothing wrong with Mormons. I have friends who are Mormons, but I don't understand how somebody pull a book who has been buried for years. I'm Jewish, and one of the things that I always tell to my rabbi is like, you know what? I study the Torah, and the language changed. So it shows the more the one person wrote it. Do we have any eyewitness? Can we know that whoever wrote it is real? So I know I'm gonna have people who are gonna come to my neck and hate me, but I'm a straight forehead, pointy eyebrows. I need to see to believe. And one of the things is I have these wrinkles on top of my eyebrows. And one of the things that I believe so strongly in what we do in face reading and linguistic and body language and microexpression is because I see it happening, I see it working, I study it and become my own religion. So in my case, my religion is what I do. Right or wrong, I'm trying to help people, but we're going through things in order to discover ourselves. Now, we're going to take a look we have more comment 100%. Jennifer, my apologies, I don't know in what part you say it. I guess and when somebody's broken and can be lured to knowing your background, I guess Jennifer, that is your approach, but please correct me if anything that I approach is incorrect. So the become of Darth Vader. He became a slave, lost his mom, joined the Jedi. He met Padme, the love of his life and mother of his twins. He ended up killing all the Tusken riders on the village when he found out his mother is a deadly wound. That's when he gone from concern because he fall in love with Padme at the same time that he find out his mother is killed. So Jennifer says all of that. Thank you very much coming from you that you know the topic. It's an honor. Thank you very much. So at the same time that he fall in love and he found grounded, he lost everything who grounded to the past. Remember when the mother of Han Solo of the Anakin is asked who's the father, he doesn't have a father. So the only route to family is his mother, and he lost his mother at the same time that he start a new family. So that's when he go ballistic and kill all the Tusken raiders. At that point, Padme become pregnant, and he fall in love with her, and he's afraid to lose her. So he went to Yoda, who gave them a sincere and real concern and answer to what happened with that. But sometimes we don't want to hear the truth. Sometimes we need somebody who sell us crystal balls or sell us crystal instead to diamonds. And you know what? Sometimes we are broken and we just want to believe that. And that's when he become part of the site and he become finally Darth Vader, who look, I'm your father is still to me one of the best phrases of the Hollywood scene.
See, I agree with them.
So next week we're going to be talking about reading faces and micro expression with mass. I have the honor to have been study in UK with Paul Ekman International. I studied with Paul Ekman in California, and I took his online classes, so I'm certified in all of them. Be careful who you study with. Check the certification and check who they did it. I have a wall full of certification, no problem to send it up. Elba studied with Matsumoto and Paul Ekman too. So we're gonna talk about micro expression and face reading with mask. We're gonna be wearing a mask. So we ask you to have a mirror in front of you so we can practice together regarding this. So now we're gonna talk about Chewbacca and Han Solo, and I'm supposed to be doing a better job in this part. What happened? I overdid it on the other one. So because we're running kind of out of time, I'm going to need to say that we're going to need to give it a short part of the event today. Sorry, my apologies. But you know what? The good news is so many people who was engaged with this topic and already within 50 minutes that we can talk about only about Chewbacca and Han Solo. Elba, you want to say anything about this topic? Because I know you was like crazy with Chewbacca.
Oh yeah. First of all, I like him. It's like the face. I like his face. But you know what? It's so amazing how we can communicate and how we can understand each other, even though we cannot talk without talking. So I love that, even though it's like, I know he doesn't talk, but you can do it with the people you are around, because even just with a simple like tone of voice talking about things, people can notice how you feel or what you're going to do. It's like, I love that part.
Okay, I'm gonna the devil is gonna put the tail. No, my second nickname beside Skull at the devil. Are you sure Chewbacca is not talking? You have two small girls, no? And I don't know how many of you guys have kids out there, but if you have kids who are similar age range, you're gonna find out they can develop their own language. Like, Yeah. I have seen twin babies talking and making sounds, and they understand and they sharing things. And like, I didn't hear any different from the first to the second but they develop their own language. So like the sign language. I remember that when I was a kid, I developed a language with my brothers. The last two words of the word, we put it on front of the word, and we create our own language. And we have so much practice that my parents couldn't cut us. So they was listening what we were saying until they found out how we did the language. The Egyptian developed their own language. There's still some people who cannot decipher the hieroglyphics to understand the language, but everybody had their own language. For example, if you're married to someone for a long time, do you know what's going to happen? You go to a party and you look at somebody and somebody lifts an eyebrow, you don't open your mouth, and you know what you need to do. I have a business partner, one of the other coaches on the company, that he is my networking husband. He goes with me to any networking because I'm horrible. I'm trying to get my aversion to networking with him. So what we do is he knows me so well, then as soon as my body change or my tone of voice or suddenly I get against the wall, he knows that somebody coming to my comfort space, coming to my proxemic, so he coming to my rescue. We don't talk about it. We never agree on that. But we know each other for so long that we develop our own language. And I remember when you start working with us, your kids were like baby. I remember you having one of the babies in your arms when we were working, because she was like, I think 6 months, less than a year, and she still was breastfeeding you. It was breastfeeding her, no?
Yeah, 6 months. Yeah.
So, and now they're 5 years old, running all the crazy and showing up on the live. And probably it's weird that they didn't show up to steal your Darth Vader toy.
No. I just keep it and says, this is mine for a while. Just give me an hour and I will take you back. So don't worry.
Did you use the chocolate trick that I showed you last week?
Yeah,
Make it smell the chocolate.
That's funny
Uh,
because one of my girls says like, "Wow, mommy smells so good." Yeah, and it tastes so good too. And she's like, "Oh, you are so a bad mom." Yeah.
yeah. So don't tell any therapist that I told you to do that with your kids, because I'm probably gonna go to jail. So, but what happened is your kids, your daughters, develop their own language. So when you spend a lot of time, even if you're with somebody who's deaf, or you are deaf, you learn how to read the pattern of other people. I have a friend who is deaf, and every time that we talk on Zoom, I need to talk slow and accentuated. And he have a program who can type my accent. Believe it or not, he get more words than I say, even being deaf and having an accent, than people who is not deaf. Why? Because we develop our own code of language. So every time that I have a problem with language, I talk to him and he make me understand, and he helped me to understand, because when one sense is diminished, the other one is developed. So let's see what happened in this scene. That this scene was picked by Elva. So let's see what Han Solo and Chewbacca, they're talking about it. And apparently they understand they were talking about, and I cannot hear anything here. Let's see what happened.
Chewie, is that you? Chewie! I can't see, pal. What's going on? Luke's crazy. Can't even take care of himself, much less rescue anybody. A Jedi Knight. I'm out of it for a little while. Everybody gets illusions of grandeur. All right, pal. All right.
No idea what they're talking about, but they have this their own language.
They
For the people
understand
who they understand each other. So there are certain programs called Look. One of the programs is called Look, where they can analyze the words you use. There are, depending on the intonation of the word you use. For example, say, ask me any question, Erla.
Do you have lunch today?
Do I have lunch? Did I have lunch? Did I have lunch? So the tone of the voice that I put, if I emphasize with a question at the end, is not what I'm saying, it's the tone of the voice that I'm using. For example, one of the reasons that I always says, then I went to a high core tech when we start doing a lives, is because my tone of voice, as soon as I go too high and I don't have a good, for example, I'm wired, you see the cables on the back, so I can listen to my voice and I can control the tone of my voice. If it's not, I go too high, the octanes go too high, and I know my voice can be really annoying. Why? I don't breathe in my nose. I have an accident. Remember when I fell on the stairs because I was blindfolding myself because I want to develop my sixth sense? Those are experience with it. So I ended up messing up with my nose. So I don't breathe with my nose. I only breathe with my mouth. So I need to get control, and not to get the octane, the resonance of my voice get in my head in a different way, and I ended up yelling. So for many reasons, the voice and the tone of your voice has a lot to do in how other people perceive you. How many times you met someone who it's lovely but says, I cannot put out with the tone of the voice, or that person is stupid, and it's not. It's just the tone of the voice. The octanes are too high and it's bothering your ears and bothering your head.
Yeah, I agree with that. See.
Yeah. So the tone of the voice, and we can develop our own language. Esperanto was supposed to be developed to be the language that everybody's going to be using forever, instead English, and English become the language. So the difference between sign language, English, or any language has to do too with the tone of the voice. I can say, I'm happy. I don't know if I'm happy. I'm when you go to a job interview, how much money you did last year? 150? Like it looked like you don't know how much you did last year. It's not happened that way. So when we talk about the secret language of words, it has to do with the tone. Certain programs are swearing they can determine if somebody's lying for the tone of the voice. I work with some of those programs and analyze some of those programs when I was studying in Manchester. I didn't finish my research, but I'm getting my hands on some of them. So maybe we're going to talk about that sooner than later. And sooner than later is what is going to be happening next Friday, 4 p.m. Again, reading faces and micro expressions with mask. Do not miss it. Remember to bring a mask and to bring a mirror. Our first webinar for the year is going to be February 2. We're going to talk about face reading profiling. We're going to start putting things together. The links is on the comment. You can go there and register and pay for the first webinar. The second webinar is going to be February 23rd at 8 p.m. And Elba is happier than anybody else because I forbid her to watch the 50-page transcript that I have from that hostage negotiation, but we're going to go in a live scenario, in a live real hostage negotiation, and teach you how you can create rapport. And when the agent who was working on this case was losing rapport. And the funny part is he presented this scenario in a conference and approached to him, and after the conference I gave him like 12 pages of like, sir, those are all the things that are missing in this scenario that you didn't read or didn't approach. He wasn't happy, but he gave me an original copy of the scenario because he liked the report and the analysis that I did a couple of years ago. Now, if you want to know anything more about this witchcraft, and I'd say it ironically because all these have a sign, and if you don't believe in the signs, you are on the wrong live on the Friday or whatever you see it. If you want to contact us for United States or Europe, go to Susan at humanbehaviorlab.com. If people want to talk with you in Latin American and Spanish, Elba, where they need to contact you?
You can go to elba.humanbehaviorlab.com.
And we are done sharing. If you have any questions, guys, you have been extremely quiet today. I am afraid. I am kind of scared when people get that quiet. So,
yeah.
Lack of questions make me nervous. We get too geeky. Elwa, do you think so?
No, I think, you know what? I think it's a good way to know what you are watching, because now you can understand what the characters are and what the Lucas said at the beginning. It's not just the movie. It's so much more there. So I agree with that. It's a lot of things in there.
Jennifer, you don't have any questions, or we were clear enough that may confuse you and now you don't have any questions? now I'm getting way more concerned. So if you can clarify it, I would appreciate it. So guys, for our you are not too geeky. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, we're trying to make science, geekiness, and fun. And it's Friday. It's late. Most of you are, and you haven't seen another human being and been working all week. So the idea is to do these Fridays more entertained. And I think even though next week we're gonna go with reading micro expressions and faces with masks, the next movie we're gonna take is Indiana Jones. What do you think?
Yeah. See. I agree with that. I saw Indiana Jones, so yeah.
All of them, the new seasons too?
No, just the old ones.
Come on! When he have a son and he find out he have a son and he go like,
that's the one that I didn't watch. No, I love the old ones.
Okay, you need to watch the new ones with Harrison Ford. And actually, you know what? A tip about Star Wars. Most people doesn't know that Harrison Ford wasn't on the original cast of Star Wars. He was a carpenter on the film crew and set, and he ended up being Han Solo. He like, I can do that. And he show up and Lucas is like, he's perfect. He is Han Solo. By the way, he was having a romance, and everybody knows with whom. But since she's not alive, I'm not going to mention him. And he says, I don't remember I was a pothead and I was so high. I don't even remember either recording Star Wars or making out with her, who, by the way, was a minor on that point. So, Star Wars, we can go to the chit chat. We can go to the funny part. We can go to the serious yard. You're choosing all the best hero's journey movies. I love it. Like, oh yeah, again, I think I'm gonna put on my resume by sure professional geek. And Elba, you should do the same. So if we don't have anyone else, so Jennifer, you agree that we just go with Indiana Jones? Let's go with the hero journey. That's what I love. Everybody of you have a hero journey, even though maybe you're on the lowest part, on the high part. But in order to get to the highest, you need to go to the lowest. And when you're on the lowest, the only thing you have to go up is on the highest. So yes, sound good to me. Good to know. So next week again, bring your mask, bring your mirror. We're gonna see you there. My lovely partner in crime. Anything to add? Because I went to my geeky side. I know you're not too much Star Wars, so this was most about me. Micro Star Darth Vader.
No, I think it's a great when you put the movie in another point of view, it's great to understand. And like you said, you are not justifying people get like in the dark side, but there's something a reason for. So I think it's great. It's great just to look at in another way.
Let's be less critical and more understanding to understand what things happen, because when you reason in what is happening, you can defend yourself and the loved ones in a better way. It's not to justify the evil, it's understanding where the
No.
evil is coming from, so you can protect
Mhm.
yourself, your people, your co-worker, your family, your finances, and everything that is important to
Everything.
you.
Mhm.
No, data is knowledge, and knowledge is power. So when you have the power of knowledge, you only can become better. Elba, thank you very much for your geeky side with Yoda and Einstein, and maybe we can do a completely about Yoda and Einstein.
Yeah.
Einstein.
See? Yes.
Einstein. I need to
It's
remember
Einstein or
correlation.
Einstein.
Einstein. Somebody correct me the other day. By the way, the thing that we did with the Star Trek and we did today with the Star Wars is part of one of my keynote speaking that I do in Comic Con. So, guys, you have the chance to see something that usually people need to pay a lot of money to see. So, anything to add, Elba?
No, I think it's oh well, yeah, I have one more thing. When you were talking
Uh-oh.
about belonging to, it's really important. And when you start reading about this, it's really important when you have kids and they start growing, they have to feel like they are part of. So put in just a really small task and things, they can feel that belong and they can grow up stronger. So I think that's a good way to do it.
Well, my love, thank you very much for being here. The girls didn't show up today. Daddy was home, so they took care of that. See you next Friday with Ready to Face
Bye.
Sarcastic Emotions. Bye,
Don't
guys.
forget the
Thank you.
mirror. Bye.
Don't forget the mirror and the mask, whatever mask you want to use. Don't forget it. Elvis right. Thank you, love, for reminding.
Okay.